Our next story is a little bit sad. GameTrailers, been around for like 13 years. When did they start?
13 years.
2003. We're talking pre-YouTube. We're talking. We were still Internet 2.0, I think, back then, when like you still had QuickTime embeds as your viral videos.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm serious. Like
I know.
When you shared viral videos, it really was like shared on emails.
Mm-hmm.
This is before Facebook. This is before MySpace got big. You know what I mean? This is for all that.
This is live journal era.
Yeah, I didn't even use that. You know what I mean? Friendster. You know, like the era of Friendster. We're going way back. Now I feel like a dinosaur. So GameTrailers was bought out by Defy Media in 2014. They have a YouTube network, which includes people like Smosh Games, Gerard the Completionist, my pal Gerard are on there. They also, I think, own the Escapist website. So it's sad, but I mean, you saw it coming. It's just how it happened was shitty. But I mean, I hadn't been to GameTrailers in years.
I used to use it all the time.
So did I. Oh, yeah.
I remember even up until probably 4
years ago.
4 years ago is when I stopped going there to actually see a game trailer. But you know, it's a site that is no longer needed.
Yeah, it's time went and gone, because back in even 2010, for GameTrailers, it's not like at that point even a lot of these big game AAA companies even had big YouTube accounts or didn't realize that, hey, we should post our stuff on YouTube. They still weren't in there yet. Right. YouTube was still growing like 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's not like GameTrailers, especially 10 years ago, needed to exist. You needed to have a place to see these game trailers, and they had original series too. And plus, their reviews were actually pretty good. A lot of their game reviews were pretty well balanced.
Oh yeah, they
didn't seem like shills. They didn't seem like they're in the pocket, at least to me, of any big AAA game developers.
It was pretty even stuff. And I mean, GameTrailers, was that where like AVGN got?
That's where Screw Attack got a lot of exposure.
Screw Attack, yes. I know Screw Attack.
So basically, let's see how I could, without giving away inside information. So Screw Attack got like a big contract with GameTrailers years and years back. They would show we're talking back in like 2009, you know, the video game vaults back when they still had, you know, Handsome Tom way back, or 2008. It was gone in 2009. But then they Screw Attack, through their association with James and the AVGN videos, were on GT. And James, at one point, I don't know how he did this. He put out 2 AVGN videos a month for like almost 2 years. Absolutely insane. And that's, I would say, was the height.
Hardest working man in YouTube.
At that point, I mean, James deserves all the fame and money he has.
Yep.
Just from that stretch alone, he was putting out. Even 1 a month is tough. He was doing 2 a month. So GT was getting tons of hits off of James's videos alone. But then they brought on other shows, like Omega 64 was featured on GT for a while. The Hey Ash series, which is very hit or miss to me, was on there for a while, and others. But those were the big ones that were there. So the problem is that once YouTube got to be a place where you can make money on your videos and be partnered and stuff, a lot of these guys drifted away. There wasn't a reason to go to GT as much for content besides the game shows themselves, but for shows like that, if I can just watch AVGN on YouTube, why go to game shows? And for a while,
it wasn't really organized in a good way for you to follow that sort of stuff either. Whereas YouTube,
well, it would show up. It would show up on the front page, and you had your show tabs and stuff like that. But like, for example, this is how I know where the delineation line was, because I think James was under contract, I think, till like 2012 on GameTrailers. Definitely by 2013, I think, because like the video I did with him in 2011 didn't show up on YouTube for like almost a year later. So there was that exclusivity.
Jesus, that was 2011.
Yeah, 5 years ago I did a video.
Christ.
That's
okay.
I bought that gold NWC 5 years ago already. Holy shit. Anyway,
so that means like the punk videos that I started in early on were like 2000. Jesus, a long time ago.
Caltron 6 and 1 was 2010.
Fuck.
So 6 years ago we shot that.
All right. Anyway,
we're both old.
Yep, we are.
And so what I love GameTrailers because they used to, and this was to me was when they took somewhat of a hit to me, when they got rid of their they had a featured user section, which was huge on the site. It was huge. That's how a lot of people got discovered. That's how a lot of people discovered my videos. I always say, like, my first 6-7 months of videos, I didn't discover GameTrailers till early 2009. I've been doing videos since June 2008. Then I started uploading my back catalog, my black box game reviews, and cutting them up. And then the first Flea Market Madness, I told you, did tens of thousands of views. On Game Trailers on YouTube, it did nothing. But on Game Trailers, the audience was bigger than YouTube for my videos for like the first probably 2 to 3 years.
I remember you saying that.
So I would put stuff on Game Trailers even before YouTube because I wasn't making any money on it. They were from the ads. I wasn't, but it was just the exposure. And they would feature them on the front page of the site. On the right side, you'd see featured users of the week. And a lot of times for that weekend, you would see mine would be the top. You know, they would put stuff on the front page. I've had 2 or 3 videos featured on the front page. My chiller review, back when I did that, in 2009, October, November, that was on the front page. The very first thing you saw on Game Trailers was that video of me and my nice beard. When I did the Video Game History Museum tour with Rue, it got put on the front rotator.
Right.
So they were cool to work with users like that. Guys like Matt Pat put their videos first on Game Trailers. That's a lot of people discover people like that. I don't know why you're giving me a look for it. It was a good site for that. Guys like Peanut Butter Gamer, things like that. Guys like that, Jontron. A lot of people cut their teeth on the user section. Now the users are absolutely vicious. They're probably more vicious than YouTube, believe it or not. I got threats of violence against me, probably by a ratio of 5 to 1 on Game Trailers versus YouTube. But that aside, you get over that stuff. That's what makes you grow a thick skin and say, who cares? But they got rid of their user submissions, I want to say around 2012 or 13. They got rid of them all of a sudden. I think they took a hit there. That's when they first took a hit, I believe. They brought it back like 6 months later, but I think that really hurt their community at that point. By that point, though, people were starting to go to YouTube anyway, because all of a sudden Ubisoft's like, well, we can just have our own YouTube channel and promote our stuff, and let's do that. You know, we can show our Assassin's Creed 5 game on YouTube. We don't need to go through Game Trailers for that.
Sure. Well, so it closed down, and I mean, it was actually quite shitty.
How it happened? Oh yeah.
Yeah, the employees were given hours of warning before Game Trailers was shuttered. So, Pat covered most of what needs to be said about the website and how important it was early on. Kind of like the test grounds, the proving grounds for what would later become the early YouTube stars. But I mean, all I'm really thinking about right now is I hope these people land on their feet and find a job quickly, because that's insufficient warning, and I almost feel like that sort of termination should come with a penalty to the company who's terminating.
Well, that's not how it works in our society, unfortunately. I would say this, though, that it is shitty for a company, either through misjudgment or mismanagement, to buy a company and then, less than 2 years later, feel like they have to shutter it. Then why did you buy it in the first place?
Yeah.
Why did you feel like you had to? But that's a common theme, though. You think you're going to buy something and work it into your, we're going to blue sky this idea, and we're going to integrate and use all these mumbo jumbo terms for how we can incorporate everyone. No, people lose jobs whenever you merge. Every merger, people lose jobs.
Sure.
At this point, though, it's like, how badly, though, do you want to hurt these people without even giving it a good shake and showing that you know what the fuck you're doing in the industry to purchase this company like this? Yeah. Now, I always wonder if they could try selling these companies to someone else, or if they even try to sell these companies to someone else before they get rid of them. If that's an option too. At least give the option to, okay, maybe we could sell it to someone else, and maybe they cut some employees, and maybe the whole thing doesn't have to be shut down.
Right.
But maybe I'm being naive, and companies don't give a shit and they're heartless. And giving less than an hour's notice is pretty fucking heartless.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you got to give someone a 5 month severance and 8 months notice, but how about a week? 2 weeks?
Look, if I have to give 2 weeks notice to leave my job, then they can give you 2 weeks notice that things are getting shuttered.
Yeah. Well, this is like, this is by not their choice for losing their jobs.
No, I know. I'm saying that the company should...
common courtesy.
Yeah, they should have the same common courtesy.
But why do that? And I feel bad because Brandon Jones, we follow each other on Twitter, is the voice, that great voice of game shows. You know his voice from all the reviews. And they like introspectives of game series. They did some good work, some good historic stuff, too. And it wasn't just game trailers. So I hope you guys all land on your feet. Everyone who worked at Game Trailers, thanks for featuring whoever was in charge of all the user submissions back in 2009 to like 2011, 12. Thanks for featuring my content and helping get eyeballs on me. That was really cool of you to do that.